So welcome to this session, which will provide an introduction to this module and to the subjects of creativity, enterprise and entrepreneurship. Today there's considerable expectation placed on the shoulders of the entrepreneur to provide solutions to the big challenges which society faces. The central aim of enterprise education is to address this issue by equipping graduates with the attitude and confidence to find advantage through opportunities by helping them develop their entrepreneurial skills and capabilities which are not solely focused on business. This module examines entrepreneurialness from a number of perspectives. We'll look at enterprise in the modern business world, in the context of organisations, self-employment, and crucially we'll look at enterprise within ourselves. We'll learn how enterprising people apply creativity to overcome challenges and create opportunities whilst developing our own ability to do this. We'll also look at innovation, goal-directed behaviour and risk-taking, and we'll discover that we already display many of these enterprising qualities. Upon completion of the module, students should possess a wider and deeper understanding of creativity, enterprise and entrepreneurship from today's business world. You'll also be able to reflect on personal experience and you'll be analysing appropriate examples of enterprising behaviours. So here are the learning outcomes for session 1, and by the end of this session you should be able to provide a definition of entrepreneurship, identify the key characteristics of an entrepreneur, describe the key challenges facing the entrepreneur, and lastly you should be able to reflect on your own qualities as a potential entrepreneur through a series of practical exercises. So now let's take a look at the module format. Now this programme makes use of both curricular and co-curricular learning opportunities. Curricular learning simply means formal learning which takes place in the classroom, whilst co-curricular learning takes place outside the classroom, for example in your own workplace. In this module we use online digital lectures like this and activities such as case studies, practical exercises, online discussions and personal reflection to help you develop your skills. After each session you'll be expected to prepare for the next session, and this preparation may take the form of reading and commenting on an article, watching and reflecting on a short video, or completing a simple activity, and these normally take no more than 15 minutes. In order to get the most out of this module, you must take responsibility for your own learning and engage with both staff and fellow students. Ultimately, you'll get out of it exactly what you put in. So in the context of business, entrepreneurial people fall into two distinct categories: the entrepreneur or the intrapreneur or internal entrepreneur. And the difference between the two relates largely to the environment in which they operate. Entrepreneurs will start or develop a business which they own, whilst intrapreneurs, sometimes referred to as corporate entrepreneurs, will display the same characteristics while working as an employee. And if we remember that the aim of this module is to develop entrepreneurial graduates, then when thinking of the entrepreneurial graduate, we need to focus on these two separate graduate streams: the future entrepreneur starting and working in their own business, and the intrapreneur who will be the source of creativity and innovation for a company which they do not own themselves. The majority of UWS students will never start or own their own business, but what they will do is hopefully become entrepreneurial within the organisations which employ them. So why is entrepreneurship so important? Well, the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, sometimes referred to as GEM, is the largest international research initiative that analyses the propensity of the adult population of a country to participate in entrepreneurial activities. They're also interested in the conditions that enhance these entrepreneurship initiatives. The report itself highlights that small business is an increasingly important part of the UK and global economy. According to GEM, in the UK in 2015, almost 1/4 of working age individuals were engaged in entrepreneurial activity or intended to start a business within the next 3 years. So that's quite a significant number. Enterprising employees, on the other hand, are also the engine house of innovation, and many go on to also start businesses of their own. 94% of corporate entrepreneurs think they have the required skills and knowledge to start a business of their own. Most of you will have no interest in starting a business, and whilst we will spend some time looking at this area, this module is not about business startup. Rather, it's about developing an entrepreneurial mindset within our students. In addition to learning about the nature of entrepreneurship, we'll also learn how to look at challenges with a view to not only overcoming them, but also how to exploit their potential advantages, regardless of whether you take on the role of business owner or employee. Neck and Green 2011 state that entrepreneurship itself is complicated and disorganised in nature, and it recognises that the entrepreneurial journey for each of you will be unique and perhaps at times a little chaotic. So who's an entrepreneur? Well, the popular image of the entrepreneur is the iconic and charismatic maverick taking on the establishment and winning and accumulating vast wealth as a reward. However, the reality is somewhat different. The vast majority of ordinary entrepreneurs are normal people who simply have the desire and the self-belief to challenge the way that things are normally or traditionally done in order to do things better, either by setting up their own business or through working for others. And these entrepreneurs come in all shapes and sizes. And first we have the dabblers, who are individuals who are basically testing their ideas in an ad hoc and unstructured way. Then we've got the hobby investors. These are running businesses based on their chosen personal lifestyle. In these cases, it's not all about making money, and being able to work in an area you enjoy is a key factor, such as adventure sports enthusiasts. Then we have owner managers, and these are people who own a business and are also in the business, running it operationally on a day-to-day business. Next we have the serial entrepreneurs, and serial entrepreneurs are individuals who set up more than one business. Commonly, most entrepreneurs set up between 2 and 3 businesses in their lifetime. However, some set up many more. Next we have social entrepreneurs, and these are people for whom the motivation for being in business is to do good works which benefit society. We also have high growth entrepreneurs with aspirations to build a very large scale business very quickly. And lastly, we have employees. These are entrepreneurial individuals who work within an organisation which they do not own. And regardless of the type, one common factor for the entrepreneur is the faith they have in their own ability to get things done. So behind every successful business and every successful entrepreneur is a good idea. Now, not every idea is a good idea. So take a look at the next example and work through the questions provided. So behind me you can see the beautiful Nissi beach, which is located in the popular resort of Ayia Napa on the island of Cyprus. Now the beach itself is 500 metres of golden sand with crystal clear waters, which are good enough to have earned blue flag status. So it's 10 o'clock in the morning and it's already 38 degrees, but as you can see there are lots of people splashing around, and I'd like to join them, but here's my problem. So I've got my snorkeling gear ready, but I've also got my wallet, my hotel room key, my iPhone, my sunglasses and this iPad. So what do I do with all this stuff? Now the opportunity here is to come up with a solution to this problem, and that solution needs to be desirable, feasible and viable. Now there are lots of potential solutions in this case, and not all of them involve inventing a new gadget. So have a think about how we can solve this problem and then take a look at the solution that I've found. Now here I want you to think about 3 things. First, what's good about the product. Second, what's not so good about the product. And third, how could we improve the product to come up with something even better. Okay, so that's Beach Vault, and clearly there's a lot we can say about this product, and whilst there's obvious evidence of creativity and innovation here, there's also a number of fairly obvious issues with the product itself and the thinking behind it. So what I want you to do now is note down your insights using the worksheet provided for this exercise and be prepared to justify your conclusions. Cheers.